How many pickled punks can the pickled punk pop?
Welcome back. It's the Pickled Punks. It's me, John.
Brad here.
Hello, this is Brian.
And Brian's here as well. So we watched a movie. It was called Nightbreed.
Nightbreed.
It was a Clive Barker movie. He's gay. we just found that out.
The internet told us he's gay.
Yeah, so that's cool.
Oh, yeah.
Horror fantasy.
And it was quite a epic tale. I don't know if anyone wants to try and summarize this movie.
Oh boy.
Brian,
I'll take it on, at least partly. I'll get the ball moving.
let's hear it.
So we have a main character named Boone, Aaron Boone. He's dating a girl named Lori, and he's under the care of a therapist by the name of Dr. Decker,
Dr. Decker.
played by David Cronenberg.
Can I just point out too that
Sure.
his name is Philip K. Decker, which has to be like an homage to Philip K. Dick, and then the main character Blade Runner is Decker.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Anyway.
I can see those associations. But
Moving on.
it was made in 99. I'm sorry, 90. Made in 90. Okay, yeah.
1990, yeah. I guess Boone is troubled by dreams of monsters sort of running through long, tall grass and catching him and that sort of thing. So he gets I guess he's done with his therapy, but Dr. Decker calls him kind of out of the blue.
I think his girlfriend is convincing him to do it. Yeah, she's the one really pushing him to talk.
So wasn't he at a point where he had kind of graduated from the therapy?
Yeah, but he kept having dreams, so she was like, maybe you should go talk to him.
And then in that interview, Dr. Decker lays out for him crime scene photos and claims that they match up with his dreams. And therefore, Boone should go turn himself into the police. Which he doesn't do, or does he?
I think he drugs him too.
Yeah,
I think that's what he's like supposed to be like. He's like, that's where he's like having visions and all that weird shit.
Yeah, he gives him psychedelics so that he has. I think that's kind of it. He kind of wants to have. He wants to have him have like psychedelic states or disassociative states so that he can't really remember or know reality from fiction.
So,
You can do some
maybe I did kill him. I don't know.
thought insertion.
Yeah, it raises the possibility that he did that under that state. Meanwhile, Decker himself is the serial killer out hacking and slashing with the funny mask on.
That's
Dick.
true. Yeah, with the button eyes.
And Boone meets someone named Narcisse when he's under police custody, and Narcisse tells him where these monsters are located, and that is a place called Midian.
Yeah, it tells him how to get there too, I think.
It's out beyond the city limits, about 100 miles away, I guess. And Boone drives out to Midian, and it's kind of a graveyard with a lot of ornate architecture. And there he meets some of the Nightbreed who bite him and change him into one of them.
Yeah, he wants to go there, but they're like, oh no, you're too pure. They're like, you actually haven't killed all these people, right?
Yeah, he mentions his murder victims as kind of like building up his cred. And then I forgot what happened after that.
I think at that point he basically gets pushed out, and that's where there's a confrontation with the police, and Dr. Decker like kind of throws him under the bus, and like the cops end up shooting him, and then they have like an autopsy, and he's, I guess, basically revived at that point because he is a Nightbreed because of the bite.
Yeah, had to set in a little bit.
Yeah, and then he travels back to the Nightbreed area and like sort of meets everyone. I can't.
Yeah, his little crew, his Nightbreed crew.
Yeah,
He's able to communicate with the main deity of the Nightbreed in a way that even the highest among them are not able.
yeah. I wasn't totally clear on why he was so special. They kind of said it, but I missed.
He appears in those drawings that they've made on the walls.
Oh, maybe he's just sort of like the Jesus
He's some
chosen
kind
one
of,
figure.
Yeah, chosen figure.
Yeah, I think, and then eventually his girlfriend, like, just gets curious of like why he's missing.
She's incredibly persistent.
Right.
Will not be stopped by any sight or obstacle.
Yeah, I mean, her only motivation would be to be with her boyfriend. I mean, beyond that, she wasn't bitten. She had her own gig. She was in a rock band. Like, she had stuff going on.
Yeah, she really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Him.
But I think generally, like, what happened from there on was Dr. Decker is just like fueling a war with these Nightbreed people, and so he sort of ropes in the chief of police, who also runs a local crazy militia.
Yeah, exactly. There's basically like 3 plot lines going on. There's the boyfriend and his girlfriend, that little romance, and then his sort of journey through the sort of underworld of mutant place, and then you had the sheriff, who was a very strong character and who would essentially run a militia, or at least have the ability to call on a militia when things go shady. And then you have Mr. Deckard, who I don't even understand what his purpose was. So he knew about Midian.
I think he was trying to start the war. I think he was.
There was
the main protagonist.
There was some bit of inaudible dialogue where he said something about he'd known about it. He knew about its history and how they had fled there from whatever persecutions they'd suffered in previous times, and he was there to put the nail in the coffin, so to speak, and finally wipe them out.
Yeah.
But that his motivations weren't really clear.
Yeah, it's he and even at the end there, like, he was participating. Well, I guess we haven't gotten that far yet, but at the end, when there was the war of the different Midian characters and the militia and the police, and then he's in the background just slashing people with no real purpose. Like, he killed like the FBI agent, or like the detective. Why?
The murders earlier in the film were just like that random family that he killed. There's nothing Midian related about them, as far as I could tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think essentially the war starts, and then I can't remember the main deity from the underworld.
Yeah, I didn't get his
Midian.
name.
He kind of encouraged everyone to flee, and then that's when Boone came back and said, no, we should fight, like, we should stand our ground, and like, we'll just keep running. And then there's a huge confrontation, and they basically they win out. And then I think at the very end, like, the deity like imparts like some sort of knowledge or transfers the history to him, and he becomes like the main person.
Yeah, when the Christian priest, when he knocks over the bowl, I didn't really understand what that symbolized. If because the whole temple kind of fell down at that point. Was Boone now the incarnate?
I feel like it because he kind of like his green eyes like locked with his, and then he sort of walked like Boone like was like, okay, I can leave now.
You pass the torch, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of symbolism, imagery, a lot of undefined sections and purposes between characters and Midian, and it left a little too much to the audience's discretion. I didn't know what was going on half the time, and my TV isn't the best, and Deckard's monotone delivery of lines, I could only hear half his dialogue, because he'd just talk like this, and then he was like a low talker, and then he would like end halfway through, so be like, this is what I think about it. And you're just like, what was that?
Several scenes were like that, even without Decker. It was just people's mouths moving, and I knew there was speech, but I couldn't decipher it.
Yeah. It was also one of those like horror movies that was fairly dark because half of it's underground, so it's kind of was literally hard to see certain. It's people wandering around underground, looking in caves. Couldn't even really see what was happening.
Yeah.
Best watched in the dark, I think.
Yeah, with eyes closed.